Collective trauma. Collective trauma uh, arises when the whole society is traumatized. And now, how to treat people? So, psychiatrists usually treat individuals who have gone through trauma. But when trauma reproduces itself on an ongoing basis, then who is going to treat and who is going to be treated? Inculcation of horror and anxiety through widespread torture, massacre, genocide, and similar coercive measures has happened frequently in human history. Tyrants and dictators have always used their technique of psychological artillery in an attempt to cause havoc and confusion in the minds of people and hypnotize them with intimidation and cynicism. So we have crimes like genocide, war, torture, trafficking. This type of multifaceted atrocities traumatize an entire population, a phenomenon that we call it collective trauma. What does collective trauma do? It delivers a strike to the fibers of the community life and destroys the bonds that bind a community together. If we go through the history, there are many examples of collective trauma, even in our modern time, from Armenian genocide to the Holocaust to present genocides in Burma, Afghanistan, Kurdistan, China, Sudan, and many other countries. Collective trauma resulting from these heinous international crimes against people has the capacity to transfer through the generation and become a tragic and accumulative phenomenon within a particular community. In this way, collective trauma can become chronic and endemic and can play a key role in group identity and formation. Children who have gone through collective trauma, like genocide, war crimes, crimes against humanity, they become traumatized in their adulthood. And it is a danger for the entire society. One example in Canada is the Aboriginal people, Aboriginal children who have experienced these transitional schools. What about treating collective trauma? Rehabilitation of survivors is extremely difficult and is hardly effective when everybody is traumatized. It is because of the severity of the trauma, accumulative and intergeneral nature of the trauma. Trauma remains chronic and would reproduce itself as long as social causes are not addressed and perpetrators continue to enjoy impunity. Is very essential. All people who have gone through heinous international crimes, they want justice and accountability. When justice is absent, trauma regenerates itself. Then the whole society may suffer from an everlasting culture of pain. I give you one example. During Liberation War in Algeria, there was an Algerian psychiatrist named Franz Omar Fanon. He worked in a hospital. At one point, he found his practice absurd. And because of the continuation of horror and of a colonial war, he emphasized the social origin of trauma, had no option but to join the liberation movement and urge oppressed people to purge themselves of their degrading trauma through their collective liberation struggle. He resigned as the head of the psychiatric department at the Blida Joinville Hospital in Algeria. In his letter of resignation, he wrote, "If psychiatry is medical technique that aims to enable man no longer to be a stranger to his environment, I owe it to myself to affirm that the Arab, permanently an alien in his own country, lives in a state of absolute depersonalization." He fought against French colonialists along with the freedom fighters. Unfortunately, he was diagnosed with leukemia and died at the age of 36. Know what to do about collective trauma. As I mentioned before, there is no magic formula of rehabilitation of survivors. Many survivors I have encountered and provided with counseling services told me. So we wish we had lost our lives along with others. This life is worse than death. Death is an ultimate relief. So, collective trauma can only be alleviated, not fully treated. And that needs cohesive community efforts, like constant community support, recognition of the trauma. There are many traumas that has not been recognized. Yet, for example, the massacre of Iranian political prisoners in 1988 has never been recognized as a crime against humanity by any international organization. Then we need remembrance. So Armenians erected monuments in many places. So in respect of those who lost their lives, and that's true about survivors of Holocaust. Also, there is a need for global solidarity. and national solidarity. And in case of individuals who have gone through trauma, there's a need of holistic community therapy and massive cooperation. So Truth and Reconciliation Commissions, apology, these are all some techniques that could alleviate collective trauma. The main issue is promoting the coping capacity of survivors to become their own agents of healing. What is needed is fortitude, the power to resist catastrophe, and resiliency. That's all I can share with you today. Have a good time.